Hello, everyone. Happy Saturday afternoon or evening, depending on where you are. I am so happy to be here with you as we set up our week in June, set up that second week in June. Time is just rolling right on by. So my name is Maya, and I am coming to you from Aurora, Colorado, where it was a pretty lovely day, but I hear wind and possibly some thunderstorms rolling in. We've been getting a lot of those in the evenings, afternoons, evenings lately. So hopefully I don't have any power issues. We'll see how that goes. So I saw lots of folks looking forward to it. Sounds like some fun vacation time with friends, time with family. So great to see folks during the summer, maybe hopefully taking things a little easier, spending time at the pool or spending time relaxing outside, soaking up that sun. If you are new to our socials and have not been here before, the nice thing is you are not on camera. You cannot be on camera even if you tried, and we can't hear you. You can't turn on your sound even if you tried. So you don't have to worry about if there's other stuff going on behind you or kind of whatever's happening The only person you see is myself. And then I also have my fabulous co-host with me here tonight, Bailey. She's coming to us from Tennessee. She's going to give a little wave. She has been at the pool all day. She said, just got back from the pool. So she's like, I might need a little nap here soon. Got that warm sun feeling and kind of the fun summer vibes. So if you have any questions, be sure to put those in the chat. Bailey will help me keep an eye on that. I try to keep an eye on the chat, but sometimes it does get rolling pretty quick. So if there's anything that you need, just be sure to pop that in there and Bailey can help with that as well. Speaking of the chat, make sure that you set that little blue box to everyone. If it otherwise, it has a tendency to default to the host and panelist. If it's just host and panelist, the only people who see it are myself and Bailey. So if you want everyone in the group here to see it, make sure that you have it. The little blue box says everyone, right? So just a few more community guidelines, little housekeeping rules. We like to make sure that this is a very safe and supportive space for all of our Sonder fam. So we ask that you're kind and courteous to both yourself and to others. No promotions or spam. We respect everyone's privacy. No hate speech or bullying. We limit those repetitive product and accessory questions. The best place to ask questions about what kind of pins do you use or stickers or those kinds of things is in the Sonder Club app. You can get a lot of folks answering there. It's not that you can't put that into the chat here. It's just we try to kind of focus on the prompts that we're working on and have the chat kind of focus in that area. Redirect any customer care inquiries to our team, hello@silkandsonder.com. So any subscription questions, billing questions, if you haven't gotten, your June book yet, hopefully you have, but those kinds of things, they all go to our headquarters, hello@silkandsonder.com. Bailey and I do not have access to your account, so we can't look anything up or help you with anything like that. And then ultimately, Sonder Socials are a tool to help elevate your emotional health through the power of community. And we certainly have a super responsive, super supportive, super helpful, super creative. We have a fabulous community, but ultimately you're responsible for your own emotions, well-being, and decisions. So if we're ever working on anything that's kind of not your jam, maybe want to work on that section, you can always just switch to the coloring page or switch to the find a word page or kind of do whatever you like. If you don't like the music that's being played, you can put it on mute. If you don't like to listen to me, you can put me on mute, and we have the closed captioning going. So really, this is your time. You took the time to be here. You are carving out this time so that you can get things set up for the week. So we really encourage you to do what you need for you. So sometimes that means doing a lot of participating in the chat and chatting with folks and talking about how you're setting up sections. Other time, that's kind of nose in the journal, filling out the journal and ignoring the chat. Sometimes it's a little combo of both, right? Again, it's really whatever is good for you, right? So this month's theme is thrive, which hopefully you've been kind of having fun digging into this idea of thriving, thinking about what does it mean to be thriving. I have a few fun little quotes on there, a couple from Maya Angelou. One is surviving is important, but thriving is elegant. I love that idea of how thriving can be an elegant state of being. And then the best part of life is not just surviving, but thriving with passion and compassion and humor and style and generosity and kindness. And then Reba McEntire fun quote, to thrive in life, you need 3 bones, a wishbone, a backbone, and a funny bone. So I think all of those are very good advice as we dig into this theme of thriving for the month of June. So our agenda for tonight, we're going to do what we call a mind map with the month's theme. So digging into that idea of thrive. We do that at each of the weekly socials. So each week, if you divide a page into 4 sections, this is going to be week 2 of that. And then we're going to do our rosebud thorn activity at the end of this week, just to kind of reflect a little bit on what we just did for the week. And then we'll get into those 2 weekly setup pages. And I always like to use these 2 little cartoons here just to kind of emphasize a couple points. The first one says there's room for you here just as you are. So there's room for you here to share your triumphs, your joys, how you're thriving. Maybe you got a promotion, maybe you know, maybe your kiddo just graduated, right? Any of those fun kinds of celebrations, we love to hear those. But we know life's not always a series of all ups, right? Sometimes we have those downs. So we're here for that too, for those struggles with maybe a job that's stressful, or sometimes, maybe we have folks that have been laid off. We have folks that have been ill. We have folks with family members who have been ill, right? We're here for that too. We're here to support you with whatever you need supporting with for the week. And the other one is the way you feel matters, and no emotion you feel is bad or unworthy. Nobody can tell you how you should feel about something. No one can tell you how you should feel, like you shouldn't be sad anymore, or you shouldn't be angry at this, right? Like that's not a thing. Our feelings are our feelings, and we are here for it all. We are here to feel the feels with you. So let's dig into this idea of the mind map. And this month, we're trying to dig into what it means to thrive. Maybe think of some different ideas, different things to introduce into our lives to help us with this theme of thriving. So thriving is really about ongoing growth, both inside and outside. Could be physically, mentally, social, or all of the above. It's not just about achieving things, but also feeling happy and fulfilled in the process. And I think that's really important. Sometimes we think thriving is only about achieving those goals. And really, it's about the process, right? Feeling happy, feeling fulfilled as we go about trying to reach those goals. So thriving can be focused on a specific part of your life, like your career, but ideally it encompasses everything. So think of thriving as a vibrant combination of happiness, accomplishments, and continuous learning. So we're looking at different areas of our lives, different things that we can do over these 4 different weekends. And this, again, like I said, is week 2. So this week, in week 2, we are going to focus on this idea of growth, right? So thriving is about continual learning and development. This area focuses on challenging yourself, acquiring new skills, and expanding your knowledge. It could involve pursuing hobbies, taking courses, or simply doing something that steps outside your comfort zone. So here's just kind of thinking about that and thinking about this idea of learning. And I think everyone here, honestly, in the Sonder family, I feel like is here because they want to learn something, or they want to kind of dig into kind of learning more about themselves. So some fun little quotes. Henry Ford: anyone who stops learning is old, whether at 20 or 80. Anyone who keeps learning stays young. The greatest thing in life is to keep your mind young. And there's plenty of research that talks about how learning really helps keep our brains functioning well, right? And then there's another one by Paul Coelho: one day you will wake up and there won't be any more time to do the things you've always wanted. Do it now. And then don't stop until you're proud. So here's some examples. So I thought what I would do is I popped in, this is I repurposed the mood tracker one month. This is how I repurposed it one month. And I called it the learning tracker. And so I was tracking different ways that I was learning each day, or throughout the month. And so I had things like read a workbook, like a book for work, go to a webinar, attend a webinar, listen to a TED Talk. We were doing a specific professional development at work called Keys to Literacy. So I had that in there, watching a YouTube video, or reading a research article. So the idea was I was just kind of tracking that in my learning tracker. Now, you probably already have your mood tracker or whatever you're using that for already set up. So I'm not necessarily saying you have to do this. I'm just kind of showing you a way that you might want to track it. And you could certainly, when we get into the pages for the week, you could certainly track things there as well. So this is just like a little snapshot of the quadrant there of my journal, where I have week 2 growth, this idea of loving continual learning. So I have things like I want to learn more. I've been working on doing a lot of painting, so learning more painting techniques, doing more advanced knitting patterns. So I do a lot of knitting, but I was telling Bailey earlier, I've kind of fallen into a rut of doing really easy things, kind of mindless things, which is okay sometimes. But sometimes if I want to grow, I need to push myself to do something a little more complicated. Reading, and again, kind of maybe pushing myself to choose a genre that maybe is not typical for me to read. Trying a new recipe, those are ways that I'm thinking about growth for me for the week. And if you're thinking like, where could I go, or how could I find these areas to help me grow? Look at libraries. Libraries have tons of summer schedule fun events going on now, different learning events. So check out your local library. Look at Instagram Reels, TikTok, YouTube, right? Use that internet for good. Watching TED Talks, watching documentaries, lots of documentaries out there on Netflix or some of the other streaming channels. Maybe it's a country or a county or a city sponsored event. Again, go to your city, look at your county, see if there's anything going on there. Museums oftentimes are really good with having different learning events. There's Coursera, I think it's how you say it. I always want to say Coursera, but I don't think that's right. I think it's Coursera, is an online program where you can sign up a lot of times for free for different classes, reading nonfiction books, looking at Eventbrite, although I know I saw some folks saying they were struggling trying to get signed into the social here today. And so sometimes Eventbrite isn't super fun, but there are lots of free opportunities there. Maybe a faith community event going on, clubs, right, in real life or virtual. And if there's not a club for what you want, maybe you become the founding member. Maybe that's how you push yourself out of that comfort zone. And so things to try, I think, like learning a language. I see people saying they have subscriptions to like Duolingo, which I have Duolingo, and have been learning Spanish for the past several years. And I see lots of other folks are using that. So that can be kind of a fun way to learn a language. Maybe taking a cooking class, again, online or at somewhere local. Maybe doing some gardening or learning about gardening. A lot of times your gardening shops, different nurseries and those kinds of things will have classes to teach you about that. Maybe learning to play an instrument, doing any kind of crafting, right? Knitting, crochet, um, cross stitch, embroidery, like all of those kinds of things. So there's almost always lots of places to go. And Chris is saying, I'd love to learn to knit or crochet. I haven't had luck so far. You do have to be a little persistent. I will say when I first learned to knit way back 23 years ago, there was a lot of swear words involved. It was a little stressful, but now it's like not an issue. And just remember, like, going into any of these things with the beginner's mindset, right? You've heard about that idea of the beginner's mindset. Like, I don't know how to do this, and it might be hard, and it might push me, and it might take some time, and I might have to focus, and it might not come naturally to me. And that's okay. That's part of what I'm doing. That's part of how I am growing my mind. So I'm going to let you work on this section. Think about that. Again, I see some folks are already putting things into the chat about how they're working on growing. And we'll let you work on that. And then we'll check back in here in just a few moments. All right, so I'm having fun reading all the different ideas that folks are putting in the chat about things to do to help them grow, right? This idea of growth, right? And this idea of thriving being about continual learning. So lots of folks learning languages. Duolingo is very popular. Like I said, I have that one. I've been doing Spanish for, I love kind of the gamification of it is definitely kind of fun. Angela said she's in a club where we earn merit badges, kind of like scouting. I am exploring so many things that I would have never considered before. And I think that's another thing too, right? Finding a group that maybe can introduce you to things that you're like, oh, I didn't know anything about that, right? Like this is like super interesting. And then I know Chris was talking about maybe finding somebody on Instagram that it kind of covers topics that is maybe something that you don't really know about. So looking at maybe you're wanting to get more into finance and learning more about that, finding some folks who have different kinds of Instagram tips on personal finance, or looking at podcasts, right? Finding some podcasts to listen to. Trying to see what else folks had. Let's see. And Janice is teaching Pilates and is going to start the journey to become a master instructor for that. And it's challenging and pushing her out of her comfort zone, right? So again, it's the kind of thing where you want to try to find something that's not too super stressful, but it does give you a little bit of a push, right? You do have to engage your brain. You can't just go on autopilot to do it so that you can learn. Mary is taking nutrition classes at the community college. Like there are just so many opportunities. Excuse me. I am always amazed at how many opportunities there are out there that we just need to kind of look for a little bit. And again, that idea of growth, that idea of learning, lots of research that talks about how that leads to happiness and how that helps us feel like we are thriving in our lives. So I'm looking forward to seeing in these next coming weeks, maybe if anybody's tried something new and they want to share with us kind of how that's helping them thrive, right? So next, let's switch over to our rosebud thorn activities. So we always do that at the end of each week, just giving ourselves a little bit of time to look back at the week, kind of see how things went. And so this is going to be on page 36 of your June journal. And we have the thorn, which is down at the bottom. I like to start with the thorn, so start with the not so fun part first. The thorn is something that maybe is frustrating or stressful or not in your control, or maybe something you didn't anticipate. So for example, my thorn actually ties in with my rose, which was we went last night to the Sarah McLachlan concert at Red Rocks Amphitheater, which if you're from Colorado or you've been to Colorado, maybe you know of Red Rocks, which is this amazing venue for concerts. This lovely outdoor, these huge rocks. If you Google Red Rocks Amphitheater, you will see it, and it is just lovely. But the thorn part of it was we got there a little bit later than what we normally would have, and parking has just gotten insane. And so we had to park 1.61 miles away, which luckily we were able to find a little like a taxi shuttle service that would take us up to the top because it's not flat. If it was a flat 1.61 miles, I wouldn't have cared so much, but took the taxi up to the top. But then at the end of the concert, we had to walk down. So it took 51 minutes and 51 seconds, and it was not really something I was anticipating having to do. So that was definitely the thorn, but it tied in with my rose, which the rose is something that is a lovely thing that happens, something fun, something, some highlight for your week. And that was the concert itself. Sarah McLachlan is just as lovely now as she was 30 years ago when I saw her in concert. And her voice is amazing. And even though I know she's been having some struggles with her voice, she made it through, and it was amazing. And her range is just beautiful. And it was a very, very, very lovely show. And so rose is that highlight, that fun thing that happens. And then the bud is something that's coming up, an emerging opportunities, something that you're looking forward to. Mine is Monday, I leave for a work trip for Dallas for 3 days. I'm hoping that the weather is okay. I know Dallas has had some struggles with their weather and flights being delayed and that kind of thing for the last few weeks. So I'm hoping, I did see, I think it's supposed to rain all 3 days that I'm there. So, but the work conference will be lovely. So, yes, Lisa, my step count looked great with that. With that extra little bit of walking. So I'm just gonna again play a little bit of music, let you listen to that. Work on, think of your rose, your bud, and your thorn. Sometimes the same thing can be all three, right? And then feel free to share in the chat, and then we'll check back in here in just a few moments. All right. Thank you all so much for sharing in the chat your rose, bud, and thorn. I know that there's a lot of roses about end of school year, going on trips with family, doing fun things with families. Um, I do appreciate the idea sometimes with our thorns that I love. There's the song 100 bad days make 100 good stories. 100 good stories make me interesting at parties. Um, so I always try to remember that sometimes, right? So the thorn oftentimes is something that's interesting and telling that interesting story about, and there's the like the little picture of my little hike, our 1.61 unexpected hike. But sometimes having those stories and telling them can certainly be fun. And congratulations to Ariel, who got a $1,000 donation for her college music program. That sounds amazing. Very, very exciting. I was just kind of looking through. Oh, Chris got a summons for jury duty. I know jury duty is not fun. I've been selected a couple times. One case wasn't too bad, but one was horrific. So hopefully things go well and you get what you have. It's one of those things where it's kind of like, it's great that we live in a country where you can have a jury of your peers, but it also means you have to volunteer to be on the jury sometimes. So hopefully things work out for those of you who get frequently called for jury duty. So let's jump into our weekly planner so that we can get started on making this week feel, feel very productive and feel like we're kind of in control and we have a plan, right? And so this is week 24 of the year, right? Just if for those of you keeping track. And this is on page 40, right? And we're going to also do page 41. So it starts out with this idea of how do you want to feel? And oftentimes this is just a word. This is just something. I always like to think of it. This is how do you want to show up for yourself and for others during the week. So you can see I have lots of little words in this slide that you could potentially choose from. Here's some examples of things that folks have done. Sometimes it's phrases, right? There's the one that says more and less, more rested, energized, less scattered, exhausted, right? So they kind of have that, those two opposites there. Ready, and then they have the definition for what ready is, those different kinds of things to kind of pop in there to see how do you want to feel for the week. And then I like to combine this with the weekly major 3 goals section that's right below it, because oftentimes if we can set up our goals to be things that once we achieve those goals, or while we are working to achieve those goals, we will feel that feeling that we want to feel. That can be kind of a double, bonus, double, like a BOGO kind of thing, right? So here's some examples of things that folks have done. They want to feel achieved and happy. So their goals are eating well, staying active, and self-care. Another person wants to feel main character energy. And so they're going to lean into their routines, take responsibility for how they want to feel, and follow their peace. One person wants to feel content. So their goals are to delete, delegate, and delight. And then there's just some other examples of things that folks have used in there for their goals, like being present, being intentional, being joyful. Some people like to divide it into things like work, body, and mind. Again, some people like to, again, the mind, body, soul is kind of a nice way to kind of divide up the goals. Lots of other examples. They want to feel grounded and joyful. And so their goals are very focused on, if I do these things, then I will feel grounded and joyful, right? So work on these 2 sections. Feel free to pop into the chat how you want to feel. Nathania is saying more grounded, less frazzled. I think that is a lot of us sometimes. That's a great way to think about how you want to feel. And then also think about your goals, right? Think about how you might set up 3 goals to help you feel, Leanne saying relaxed, right? So how do you want to feel? What are some goals that might help you feel relaxed, right? So I will play a little bit of music again, let you work on those, and then we'll check back in. All right, so lots of good examples in the chat, folks talking about how they want to set this up, how they're setting up their feeling, and then setting up those goals to help them experience that feeling throughout the week, right? It can be a little tricky sometimes. We can say, I want to feel happy, but then if we don't actually give ourselves some goals and set up some actions to do that, then sometimes that doesn't happen, right? So this is a way to kind of help hedge your bets and make sure that those things happen. So I want to hop over now and I'm going to combine the to-dos with the section underneath that's the habits and activities, or habities, as I called them the one time when I was I was talking too fast and put the words together and made them be habities. So, because like, what's the difference between the to-dos and the habits and activities? So I would say like the habits and activities section usually is something that's more for things that you want to do maybe like 2 or 3 times during the week. And then the to-dos are maybe like a one and done kind of thing, but it doesn't have to be that way, right? Again, it's kind of whatever works for you as you go through. So there's different ways to kind of think about your to-dos. You could set them up as a need, want, and hope to-do list. I like this idea, like, here's the things I need to do. Here are things I want to do. And here are some things maybe that I hope to do, or I hope to feel, or I hope to have happen as a result of doing these needs and wants activities, right? These to-dos here. Some people like to use the Eisenhower decision matrix. So they make like a big master list of all the tasks that they have to do for the week, or maybe it's even for the month. And then they decide what quadrant they're going to put it in for this week. So you have the important and urgent things you're going to do now, the important and not urgent things you're going to decide when you need to do them, maybe schedule a time, maybe it's not until next week. Things that aren't important, but they're urgent, maybe you can delegate in some fashion. And maybe even delegating doesn't, because some people say, well, I don't know who I would have to delegate some things to. So kind of getting creative thinking, maybe if it's dinner, you could delegate to a restaurant, right? Or, for takeout. Maybe if it's not important and not urgent, maybe we need to delete it, or there's some other example words down there. Maybe we need to drop it for the week. Maybe we need to decline, maybe decline invitations, decline requests for help. Maybe we need to decrease something. Maybe we need to discontinue, delay, right? Lots of different ways to kind of think about what this Eisenhower matrix would look like for your to-dos. Here's some other examples of things people have done. Again, the bingo. Sonder family loves a bingo. So you can make bingo lists of the things that you need in your to-dos. I like the one in the top middle where they have, don't do this, do this instead. So they've given themselves I'm going to stop doing this and I'm going to do this instead. So it gives their brain kind of here's something to fill that piece of time with. There's work and home. Maybe you want to divide up the to-dos into work and home. There's another need, want, and hope. One person just says step by step, right, that they have, and that's kind of what they're thinking in their to-do box. Another person has it divided into a couple things for self-care, a couple things for health, a couple things for home, a couple things for their coursework that they're doing. You could also repurpose this to-do section, right? You could maybe make a ta-da list, right? So these are things that as you do them, you write them down, like, ta-da, I did these things. Maybe you want to make a to not do list to check off what you didn't do. There's a lot of negatives in there that get like, ooh, that sounds crazy. But thinking about things like, I'm not going to multitask, right? Here's something that I'm not going to do. So you could do that. You could also use the to do for a gratitude or a quote. You could do the weekly to be instead of to do. So I want to be patient, be kind, be vigilant, be honest, right? Instead of a to do, it's a to be. Here are some examples of how to thrive every day. This comes from oprah.com/thrive, interestingly enough. So things like sleep for 30 minutes more, meditate for 5 minutes, disconnect from devices, move your body, set your top priorities, make time for the important stuff, write down 3 things you're grateful for, accept yourself, flaws and all, be creative for at least 10 minutes. I like the be creative for at least 10 minutes. That gives you kind of a license to do a lot of things. You could write, you could draw, you could paint, you could knit. 10 minutes. Talk to someone you'd normally pass by. Give back, back your smile, your energy, and your time. I like that idea. And here's some examples of things that people have done in this little habit activities section, writing the different things down. It does have the little goal section where you could, if you wanted to, say something like, I want to do this 3 times this week. So give yourself an idea of how many times you want to do that. Normally, I will put pack my lunch for work, and I have that 4 times a week. But since I'm going to be out of town for 3 of those days, I probably won't put that on the list for this week. And some people will say, well, how is this different from my monthly habit wheel? And again, your monthly habit wheel is maybe something you want to do every single day, and the weekly is something that you're just wanting to do a few times during the week. So different examples of things that people have put in here, things like reading for 30 minutes or taking a walk at night with their audiobook. Excuse me. So they kind of have a couple, it's that habit stacking, right? So I want to do 2 things. I want to go for a walk and I want to read my book. I'm going to actually just go for a walk while I listen to my audiobook. I kind of do a triple because in the mornings I go over to our HOA pool and kind of clean things out. And kind of tidy up from the day before. And so I listen to an audiobook. I'm getting a walk in, going over to the pool. I'm getting some exercise in, and I'm getting the pool area tidied up, right? So kind of stacking all of those things on top. Yeah, Bailey, I don't know if I'm the HOA president this year, so I'm trying to set a good example for people to tidy things up, but it's not going so great. But anyway, so these are just kind of the things that you want to do for the week. So I'm going to let you work on those to-dos, work on those habits and activities, and then we'll check back in here in just a moment. Okay, so hopefully you have some ideas for how you want to use each of those areas, right? So what do you want to put in those to-dos? How do you want to set up those habits and activities? Again, some people decide, you know what, like for me, I'm going to be out of town for 3 days. I might not even use the habits and activities this time, or if I do use them, they'll maybe only be for like Thursday, Friday, maybe Saturday, right? We'll kind of see how that goes. But again, that's the nice thing about this week is you can really kind of experiment each week, and then you get a whole new week to experiment the next time and see how things work. So let's jump over to page 41, and I'm going to go through each of these areas here all together, because a lot of people like to repurpose and do different things, and I want to give you lots of ideas, right? So that's what I always like to say, is that this is like our Silk and Sonder buffet, our buffet of journal sections, and we will give you lots of examples and ideas of things to do, but you pick and choose what you would like this week. And if it doesn't work this week, no big deal. You could try something new next week. So meal plan has lots of opportunities for things to do with this other than make it a meal plan, right? You could plan your meals, or you could track your meals. You could also track symptoms or different health things that you're wanting to keep track of. You could do a clothing plan. You could make a meal plan for your soul. You could keep track of the daily affirmation here. Maybe it's a word of the day. Maybe it's a chore list. Maybe it's some sort of a checklist. The wardrobe tracker packing list will be working very well for me. I like to use that because that way I don't overpack, because I plan, this is what I'm wearing Monday, this is what I'm wearing Tuesday, and this is what I'm wearing Wednesday. So lots of different ideas there. Again, lots of different ideas for things that people have done with it. Word of the day, affirmations, quotes, one good thing, to-dos, workout and plan, right? Wins and achievements. So lots of different ideas for how you might want to set this up. I love the little doodles and the one in the middle. And I'm so jealous you got to go to the Cheese Inn diner in Woodstock, New York. It sounds very fun, because I do love the Cheez-Its. And then our mind body health plan. The idea behind this is you're just kind of keeping track, or scheduling or planning out some things that you want to do each day, maybe for your mind or for your body. So here's some examples of different things that people have done. In the bottom, they have like Motivation Monday, Talk It Out Tuesday. That's kind of fun. And she has, for that, she's going to call her mom, right? Walking Wednesday, take the dog for a walk. So there's kind of some fun things there. You could also use this. I know a lot of us, Bailey and I, were talking about like there's always a national something day, right? So like Monday is National Egg Roll Day or National Ballpoint Pen Day. That might be a good one for the journal. Maybe you want to do, maybe you want to make some things that you want to do for Ballpoint Pen Day, do some writing in your journal, right? Corn on the cob day, peanut butter cookie day, sewing machine day, right? Those kinds of things. So here's some fun ones there. Oh, Denise says that was hers. She got to go to the Cheese Inn diner and has recipes. That is very exciting. I never would have thought of making things with Cheez-Its. Here's some other examples of things you can do with the Mind Body Health Plan. Again, bingos are good. Maybe it's just a motivational statement and a little drawing that says, get off my butt. Maybe it's things that you're going to do to keep it fun. Maybe it's keeping track of the real luxuries like slow mornings, day naps. I took a nap today. It was lovely. Different kinds of things like that. Oh yeah, Denise, please post the link in Sonder Club. That would be super fun. Wordles, how did I nourish my mind, body, soul? Cleaning, different kinds of tasks or things that they're doing. And then the shopping list, again, bingos. They have their nighttime routine written down and tracking whether they're doing each of those things every day or each night. Bingos, right? A birthday week bingo, a yay me bingo, mind, body, heart bingo, a packing list, right? That also works well. Social check-in, so checking in with folks on different days. Maybe you're texting, calling, or having a face-to-face meeting with them. Intentions that you're setting, ways to fill your cup, right? Again, there's so many different ways that you can track that. So really kind of think about, okay, what was my feeling for the week? What were my goals? What are some things I can track or remind myself, plan out that I want to do. And then that I am loving space really is just for kind of whatever you're loving for the week. You can fill it out today, you can fill it out on Wednesday, you can fill it out at any time during the week when you kind of have an idea of something that you're loving, right? Something that is going well and that you're really enjoying. So I'm going to play a little bit of music here, let you work on that. Feel free to let us know how you're changing this up. Oh, Ashley says, I repurpose it to write down the sunny and rainy days in the Pacific Northwest. I love that. Super, super fun. A family themed bingo. So lots of fun ideas there. So I'll play a little bit of music, check back in, and then we'll wrap things up. All right. So hopefully you've found some fun ideas for something to do with each of these sections. Remember, you don't have to fill in every single one of these sections, right? If it doesn't work for you, if it's not something that you need for the week, leave it blank. Throw some stickers in there, draw some doodles, just color it with some pretty colors and make a little abstract chart. Like whatever works for you, do that, right? So believe it or not, we are at the end of our hour. It is always such a fastest hour. And so we would love for you to share, if you're comfortable, your weekly planner in Sonder Club. You can see we got all these examples from Sonder fam members. These are not AI generated. These are HI generated, right? Human intelligence. And real life people did these. So we love being able to share those. So if you're comfortable, please feel free to share some of those. And who knows, you might see your example popped up there on the screen one day. So just a couple little reminders. We do still have the monthly matching stickers, and they have a subscription now for the month that you can get. So the stickers come with your journal, and they're the color themed matching ones. We also have the stickers set that has over, I think, 2,000 stickers, kind of something that works for every month. Lots of fun little things in there. We do still have our 10% off on our Elevate planner with the code EARLYBIRD. And Bailey's going to start dropping some links into the chat. She's got links for the Sonder Club app. Hopefully everyone's on that. Do you like my HI generated? Yeah, I keep saying that at work now. I'm like, AI generated is nice. How about some HI generated? I kind of like that. We've got our stickers, Elevate planner. What else do we have? We still have the refer a friend promotion going. You refer them, they sign up, you get $10. They get $10. Upgrading to the annual subscription saves you money. Bailey's probably also going to pop in the link to the YouTube, where we have over 700 socials recorded in there now. Yes, Nathania, please steal the HI. I like that to get going, right? YouTube, great link. You can go and watch an old social, right? Find one from a few years ago from a journal that you don't maybe have that theme for, because you don't have to have the pages. You can just play along. We show you what it looks like on the screen. So, and then you'll get the link for the survey to let us know what you would like to see in upcoming Sonder socials. So thank you all so much for joining us, getting your week all planned out. Hope to see you again at another social soon. Please take care, and we will hopefully be seeing you again soon.
Squint your eyes and look closer. I'm not between you and your ambition. I am a poster girl with no poster. I am 32 flavors and then some. Squint your eyes and look closer. I'm not between you and your ambition. I am a poster girl with no poster. I am 32 flavors and then some. And I'm beyond your peripheral vision, so you might wanna turn your head. Cause someday you're gonna get hungry and eat all of the words that you just said. I am what I am. I am 32 flavors and then some. God help you if you aren't ugly, girl.